Good morning, Fantastic Fours. Good to see you with me again. Let's jump straight into no more preamble. Let's go. Standard reminders at the start of the lesson. The email, if you want to get hold of me, just email Mr. T at grade4@worksheetcloud.com. After the lesson, click on the link above the video, do the worksheet, make sure you got this. Okay, as per normal, the next slide is mental arithmetic for the day. 10 questions. You just put the answer. We're looking at just subtraction today, so just checking how sharp your brain is. 4 seconds per problem. That should be enough. It does take practice. Just a reminder, as per normal, accuracy is more important than speed. So it's more important to get things right than to get them done. It's useless to get all 10 done and get all 10 wrong. Far more useful to get 4 right, even if you've only done 4. Obviously, we want to improve your speed, but it's not just about speed. It's accuracy is prime. It's the most important thing. Your 40 seconds start now. Stop. Time's up. Okay, I was going to say, if you got all of them done in that time, give yourself a pat on the back, but actually it's not about speed, it's about accuracy. So let's see how you did. Okay, 15 minus 11 is 4. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. 13 minus 5 is 8. 7 minus 2 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. 14 minus 7 is 7. 11 minus 7 is 4. 13 minus 10 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. I don't write these answers down, I just work them out as we go through. I hope I didn't make a mistake. I'm fairly sure I didn't. If you missed any of the answers, just rewind the video and go through it again and just check that you've got them right. So I'm not going to say if you got all of them right, give yourself a pat on the back. What I'm going to say is if you did the same or better than you did last time, then give yourself a pat on the back or a high five. This is how you give yourself a high five. Okay, on to today's lesson. We're looking at perimeter. Yeah, I guess perimeter. We're going to go into what it is next in a moment. Our goals for the lesson, first of all, to understand what perimeter is, then understand that perimeter is a measurement of length. So it's a distance, and then be able to find the perimeter when you're given all of the measurements, and finally be able to find the perimeter when you're given some measurements when we've got regular shapes. So we're going to be maths detectives. Okay, so first of all, perimeter. What perimeter is, I'm sure some of you know, the perimeter of a shape is the lengths of all its sides added together. So if I've got a square, and we add up each of the sides of the square, the final answer, that is the perimeter of the shape. So it's a length. Well, I'll do that on the whiteboard in a little bit. So sometimes you'll be asked to work out the answer, but more often you will be given a picture of a shape and asked to work out what the perimeter is. So you can see those children in the picture are working out the perimeter by measuring it and then adding things together. But most of the time we're going to do it with, you get a picture with the measurements on it, and then you've got to work it out. I can't really teach you how to do measuring because I'm not in the same place as you. I can't see that you are using the ruler correctly, you're measuring from the right place or anything like that. So I hope you've done some of that with your teacher at school. But we are going to focus on the ones where we're given the shape, or a picture of the shape, and we use what the information is on the picture. So we work out the perimeter by adding the sides together, the length of the sides together, and the unit that we use is a unit of length. So because we're measuring a length of the outside, The way that we do that is we measure it in either millimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers. Americans would use miles and feet and yards, but we don't do that. We're going to use the metric system. There are other kinds of meter things. We have a decimeter, a decameter, a hectometer, but these are the 4 that we most commonly use. In fact, I don't think you're going to need to worry about the other ones unless you get, well, maybe later on in school. They are there, but you don't need to know them for now. So, maths detectives, and what I mean by that is sometimes we use what we know about shapes to help us find the perimeter. So, for example, if I've got a square and I've only been given one length of a side, I know that for something to be a square, all the sides have to be the same. And so what I can do is I can use my knowledge of the shape, that all the sides are the same, to tell me the length of the other side. So if one of the sides is 5, they'll all be 5. And then I can work out the perimeter. Right, let's go across and have a look at the whiteboard. Okay, I've drawn a few shapes, but I'm actually going to move across a little bit first. And just, okay, so here we are. Let me quickly make it a ruler so that I can draw a straight line shape. All right, so let's say that I've got a shape that's 3 long. I don't know how well you can see the blocks in the back of the video, but that's 3 blocks long, and it's 2 blocks down, and it's 3 blocks that way, and it's 2 blocks up. In fact, I think I'm going to do that in different colors just to make it more clear what it is I'm doing. So I've got 2 down over there, I've got 3 across over there, and I've got 2 up over there. Okay, so if I was looking at the perimeter and I wanted to find out the perimeter of this shape, the perimeter is the length of all of these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into a straight line. So this line here is 2 long, so I'm going to put it over there and I'm going to row it out from there. Right, so all I've done is I've moved it to be level with that one. I'm going to take my blue line and I'm going to put it level over there, and my green is 3 long. I'm going to put it on this side. Okay, and remove it from there. So the original shape I had, the original shape I had, this is the length that I would measure for the perimeter, and the perimeter of that shape, if I measured from there to the end, that would be the, I'm still on ruler, that's why it's not writing nicely. That would be the perimeter of my shape. All right, so that's what perimeter is when you take all the sides, you line them up one next to each other, and you measure it, and that's the perimeter. So just a reminder, we're measuring a length, so that's either in millimeters, centimeters, meters, or kilometers. Obviously, when you're doing kilometers, you're not going to actually draw a kilometer line on your page. That wouldn't work. Okay, let's look at some of the shapes that we have over here. All right, so as I said, I can't ask you to actually measure shapes. And so this is quite an important point, and teachers make it more a little bit later on, but I'm going to tell you now anyway. I can very clearly see that those 2 lines are the same length. You can see that they are. But when it comes to a maths drawing, if your teacher says that this is 4 centimeters and this is 3 centimeters and that this is 5 centimeters, I realize that they're not actually that measurements. We've got to use the information that's given, these 3 things, and we use that to solve our answer. I'm not going to do that, but I just want to point out that I realize it's not the actual lengths, and when you're given a length, you must use the length that you're given. You don't have to go and measure it again. All right, so let's assume that this is 2 centimeters, and that this is 2 centimeters, and that this is 3 centimeters. I'd like you to quickly work out the perimeter of that triangle. if you said 7, you would be wrong. And right now, a whole bunch of you are going, no, Mr. Travis, you are wrong. If you said 7 centimeters, you would be right. Told you the units are important. And in fact, if you were in my class and you just wrote a 7, I would mark you wrong and I would not give you a half mark or anything like that. You would just be wrong. The units are very important because, I mean, 7 what? 7 kilograms? 7 birds? 7 pineapples? Who knows? So it's very important that you put the measurement over there. Yeah, so the answer is 7 centimeters, and the way we got that was we said 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 3 is 7, and that's how we got it. Okay, let's have a look at the rectangle just to the right. Let's assume that this is 6 centimeters and that this is 1 centimeter. This is 6 centimeters and this is 1 centimeter. I would like you to work out the perimeter of that rectangle. If you said 14, you'd be wrong. If you said 14 centimeters, you would be correct. So 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 6 plus 1 is 14 altogether. Okay, let's do the next one. So now we're going to go on to this. I'm not going to go left to right on the next line. I'm going to have a look at this odd shape over here. It's a quadrilateral because it's got 4 sides. It is in fact a trapezium, but you don't need to know that. You might know that, but that's cool if you do, and it's not to worry about if you don't. So let's say that this is 1 meter. This is, let's make that 3 meters. This is also 3 meters, and this is 4 meters. I would like you to work out the perimeter of that shape. If you said 11, you would be wrong. If you said 11 centimeters, you would also be wrong because it's not 11 centimeters, it's 11 meters because I used a different unit of measurement when we were doing this one. Okay, let's do the one in the middle here. This one I'm going to say is 6 millimeters. This one is 4 millimeters, 2 millimeters, 2 millimeters. That's 2 m's. This one here is 5 millimeters, and this one here is 3 millimeters. Right, work out the length there. So just make sure that you can see that's a 5. Right, work out the perimeter of that shape there. And if you're done, try and remember what that shape is called. We have done that lesson. Okay, if you need more time, just pause the video. This is where mental arithmetic is getting important. Again, as always, I'm going to add these up in my head. 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19, plus 3 is 22. So the perimeter of this shape is 22 millimeters. And this shape is called a hexagon, and more correctly, an irregular hexagon, because there are 6 sides and they're not all the same and the angles are not all the same. So an irregular hexagon. Well done if you got that. That's good. Okay, I wanted to use this next one, which is a square. And I'm going to just do this. I'm going to say that this side is 4 kilometers. And I would like you to work out the perimeter of that square. if some of you are looking at the computer going, Mr. Travis, you forgot to put some things in that square, you would be wrong. I didn't forget, I just didn't put them in. Okay, and as I mentioned when I was talking about maths detectives, that's what you are. So I hope that you know that all of the sides of a square are the same. So if this side of the square is 4 kilometers, then I know, because I know that they're all the same, that this side is also 4 kilometers, this side is 4 kilometers, this side is 4 kilometers, and I can work out what my perimeter is. So I can go 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 16 kilometers. Now you don't need to know the formulas for perimeter yet, but you might have said to me, Mr. Travis, I could also have just said 4 times 4 because all of the sides are the same. Ooh, I'm just off screen there. 4 times 4 because all of the sides are the same. And I would have said you're quite right. And in fact, for those of you who want to bank this for later on or impress your teachers, the formula for finding the perimeter of a square, so I will call it perimeter of a square, P of square is equal to 4 times S, and S is the side. So 4 times the side, so in this case the side is 4, 4 times 4 is 16. You do not need to know that at a grade 4 level, but you never know. It's always nice to be ahead of the game, isn't it? It's like when you go surfing and bodyboarding and you're on the front of the wave and it's like everything's free flowing. Not like when you on the back of the wave, desperately trying to catch it, go up the top, and you just can't get there. That's a horrible feeling. Anyway, sidetrack. Let's have a look at this shape here, this weird horseshoe shape down at the bottom right. All right, while I'm putting in the sides, see if you can tell me what that shape is called. All right, and now if you've got the shape's name, you can work out its perimeter. Oh, sorry. Wait, stop. Okay, now you can go. That's 1 centimeter. Hope your mental arithmetic's not letting you down. Okay, let's do the mental arithmetic very quickly. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 5 is 12, plus 5 is 17, plus 2 is 19, plus 1 is 20, plus 3 is 23, plus 3 is 26. So the perimeter of this shape is 26 centimeters. Not just 26. If you put 26 and you're in my class, I'm marking you wrong. Okay, this last shape, which I'm going to do, then I've got a couple for you to try. Just take a note that this here isn't one straight line over there. There's 2 small straight lines. So see if you can name that shape while I put in this answer. Right, that also is an irregular hexagon, like this one in the middle here. Let's see if you can work out its perimeter. If you're struggling, because that's some big numbers, I'll jot them down quickly. I'm going to put them underneath each other. I'm going clockwise, so like this. Three plus 8 is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Carry 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Your answer then is 80. Oh, I'm off screen. 87 millimeters. So the perimeter of that shape is 87 millimeters. Okay, I'm going to pause the video quickly and put up a couple for you to try on your own. I will do 3 normal ones and 3 detective ones. Right, there we are. I've got 6 problems for you. You can see the ones on the left. I've given you all the information you need, and on the right you need to be a detective. I'd say about 30 seconds for each of those should be enough, and then if you need more you can pause. So I'll give you 3 minutes for all of them, and your time starts now. Please don't be distracted by my doodles, you're doing maths. Had about a minute and a half, so you've got about a minute and a half left. Remember, you're trying to work out the perimeter. Another piece of advice just to give you, especially if you're writing a test at school, if you're stuck on a question, don't stop there. Leave that question, finish the rest of the test, and come back to the one you're stuck on. So often it happens when you're doing one of the questions further on in the test, your brain goes, oh, that's what we were supposed to be doing. And you can go back and do it. But if you get stuck on one question, you can't get past it, then unfortunately you might end up running out of time, and you end up maybe not getting the marks further on in the test that you would have got quite easily. So please, if you ever get stuck on something, leave that one and go ahead and do one of the other ones, and then come back to the one you couldn't do. Okay, confession time. I actually forgot what time we started, so I think that's 3 minutes, but it might be 2 minutes. If you need more time, just pause the video. Okay, so let's look at 1 first. We've got to add the sides together to get the perimeter. So 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 2 is 14, plus 2 is 16. So the perimeter for this one is 16 meters. If you didn't put the M, you are incorrect. And just to get you into good habits, I'm actually going to say P equals, which means the perimeter equals. Looking at the second question, I've got to add all of these big numbers together. I'm going to quickly jot that down underneath. So I've got 20, 20, 40, 20, and 25. All of the right column gets to 5. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 on the side. So then my answer is P equals 125 millimeters. You don't need to have the P equals, but if you got 125 and you put millimeters, you are correct. The next one, adding those together, P equals, it's going to be something kilometers because our questions are in kilometers. So 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 8 is 17. So the perimeter of this triangle is 17 kilometers. So here comes our detective work, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the detective stuff first, and then I'm going to do my answers. So a rectangle, and notice that I have said to you that it's a rectangle, and we know that a rectangle, the opposite pairs of sides are equal. So if this one is 8, then this one is 8 too. Let me actually put that on the outside of the circle. The outside of the rectangle. And this one will also be 3 centimeters because the one opposite is 3 centimeters as well. Looking at the next one, number 5, we know that all sides of a square are the same. So if this one's 12, then this one's 12 kilometers. This one is 12 kilometers. And this one is 12 kilometers. So that's the detective work that you've done, maths detectives. And the last one, it doesn't matter if your rectangle is at a funny angle, the same rules apply. If the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal, so we can put the 8 in over there and the 4 in over there. Now that we've got those numbers, we can do our totals. So for number 4, P equals, and let's add that up. 8 plus 8 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So the perimeter is 22 centimeters. If you left out the centimeters, you unfortunately cost yourself a mark and get nothing. Looking at the next one, we've got 12. 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 is 48, and that is kilometers. That's a horrible K, but it's kilometers, 48 kilometers. And finally, the last one, P equals 8 plus 8 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 24 meters. So perimeter is 24 meters. Okay, well that's all we've got time for today in the lesson. Please do click on the worksheet above and do it just to make sure you've understood perimeter. There are going to be some where you need to be shape detectives. There are going to be some where you've got all the sides given to you. But do it, make sure you've got it. Don't worry about the formulas or anything like that. That'll come next year. Grade 4s, have a fantastic day. I look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye.